Hello everybody, I'm the Trailbox Gamer, and in today's video I'll be showing you the synthesis list in Kingdom Hearts 1. Now, for the first part of this video, we'll be going over Heartless that appear before Hollow Bastion, and then there's going to be a segment for the Heartless that appear after Hollow Bastion. Now, before you go item farming, I do suggest you pick up Lucky Strike as an ability, because that will help the drop item increase. Now, unfortunately, if you pick the sword at the beginning of the game, you only get this ability at level 90. If you pick the staff at the beginning of the game, instead of level 90, you'll be getting this at level 48. And lastly, the shield, which you can unlock as early as level 24. Your party members also get this ability, Donald at level 44, and funny enough, Goofy at the same level as the shield at level 24. In addition, Ariel, Aladdin, and Peter Pan also have this ability unlocked by default. Now, another ability I suggest you get, but is totally optional, would probably be Treasure Magnet. Mainly to avoid losing any items. For this video, I'll be going down the item list. I'll tell you what you need, what enemies drop them, and where you can find them. The first on the list is going to be a Mega Potion. You're going to need 1 Spirit Shard, 1 Power Shard, and 4 Mithril Shards to make it. For the Spirit Shards, you can find them from soldiers and large bodies. For large bodies, you can find them in the 2nd district of Traverse Town. You can also find them in the Gizmo Shop, but I only think 2 spawn, so yeah, it's probably easier just to fight them in the 2nd district. With that being said, I looked up and down at this area and I couldn't find a soldier, so sadly, if you wanted both of them in the same place, this is not going to be the place to find them. To counter this, I suggest going off to Wonderland. Not only because the Heartless that we're looking for is greater there, but also most rooms have them together. Granted, together doesn't mean that they're always close to each other, but they're in the same room, relatively speaking. And before I forget, the soldiers in Traverse Town can be found in the 3rd district. If you keep following the path that I'm going, you can find more soldiers, but I just kind of forgot. I moved to the next area. That's what I did. I forgot to include that part. But, as you can see, there is a good amount of soldiers and large bodies in this world, so if you need to find a Spirit Shard, your best bet will probably be here. The next item, being the Power Shard, I would say is relatively a lot easier to find because you could only find this in the deep jungle. They're dropped by the Bounty Wild and the Power Wild. To be honest, I think you could cycle through the first 3 rooms and you could find a Power Shard within minutes, so there's no real difficulty in finding, I think basically every room in this level has a Power Wild or a Bounty Wild, so Power Shard shouldn't be too difficult. Granted, there are a couple special Heartless that do pop up, but we'll cover those later for their respective items.
This should help.
Actually, I kind of remember why it might be difficult now, because the drop rate for a Power Shard For a Power Wild, it's 6%. For the Bouncy Wild, it's 12%. But, like I said in the beginning of the video, if you have Lucky Strike for all your party members, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Though currently, I don't have Lucky Strike, so for me it's going to be a semi-problem.
Thunder! Thunder!
Now, for the last item, Mithril Shards, they're kind of problematic. I mean, I do remember that they pop up in chests and random, like, little rewards for exploring, but for them to be dropped, if you've been following my normal run, at this point, the only Heartless that would drop these would be the Pot Spider and the Barrel Spider, but their drop rate is like 1%, and they're not exactly, I would call, a common Heartless. But, of course, I'm still going to show where you can find them. Now, Pot Spiders can be found in Agrabah. And going over the footage, I did realize that they're actually pretty plentiful. It's just, to be honest, I kind of forget that they exist. Like, you get what I mean? Like, it's kind of hard to remember that they're there. Because they don't spawn like normal Heartless, they disguise themselves. If anything, I'd say this room would be a good place to farm them. Mainly because a lot of enemies in here are, the Pot Spider. Oh wow, we actually found one. Huh, I wasn't expecting to actually get it on footage. Just a reminder, the recipe that we're looking for needs 4 of them, so don't call it quits after you find just one.
Thunder! Thunder!
I'm pretty sure this will be the last place where they spawn. So, after this, I suggest going to Monstro for the Barrel Spider if you're not having good luck with the Pot Spiders. In Monstro, this is Chamber 2. I'll be giving you a heads up on where we are because I know Monstro can be a little confusing.
Fire! 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 See ya!
Now we're in Chamber 6. I'd probably suggest going here first if you're looking for a Barrel Spider because there's quite a bit in this room. Oh wow, we actually got 2. Huh, I wasn't expecting that. And this would be Chamber 5.
Fire! Fire!
On to the next item, Cottage. We're gonna need 1 Lucid Shard and 1 Bright Shard. Well, Lucid Shards are dropped by shadows, and to be honest, you can kind of find them everywhere, so
Thunder! Ha! Here! Thunder! Thunder! Here! Thunder! Ha! Thunder! Here! Thunder! Thunder! Heal!
Yeah, they're kind of everywhere, so finding one shouldn't be an issue. The next item is also kind of common too, a Bright Shard. It's dropped by a Green Requiem. These guys are also kind of a common Heartless too. Like, you can find them in Traverse Town, Agrabah, Monstro, Deep Jungle, and Hollow Bastion. To be honest, while that's the case, I prefer to go to Traverse Town. On top of the Gizmo shop, there's a bunch of magic Heartless that spawn, some of them being the Green Requiem. Now, in my normal playthrough, I mentioned that I like worlds with a good flow. Traverse Town has a good flow when I'm hunting down Heartless, because I could go 2 rooms away and back into this room effortlessly, and the enemies would respawn. It might not be much, but it's my preferred method with these guys. Next on the list is the Energy Bangle. Now, once you complete 3 out of the 6 items on the list, you're going to unlock the next tier. Now, for the Energy Bangle, we need 2 Spirit Shards and 1 Bright Shard. Since we kind of covered these items, there's nothing really new to go over. Next is the Power Chain, which already has items that we already went over. Plus, all you really need to do would be go to Deep Jungle and you can find these guys, so it shouldn't be too hard. Next up is the Magic Armlet, which needs 3 Blaze Shards, 3 Frost Shards, and 3 Thunder Shards. You could get the Blaze Shards from the Red Nocturne, the Frost Shards from the Blue Rhapsody, and the Thunder Shards from the Yellow Opera. Like with the Green Requiem, I do suggest going to Traverse Town. Like I said before, on top of the Gizmo shop, you can find a good number of them, but if these don't give you good results, actually just traveling around Traverse Town, you're bound to find like a decent amount of these guys. To be honest, a stroll around town would probably net you a few of those shards. Granted, if you are having some difficulties, I do know that in Wonderland, Red Nocturnes are very common, so if you can't get some of them, because here, I would say that the most I've seen would be Blue Rhapsodies and Yellow Operas compared to like Red Nocturnes. So if you need help with that one, Wonderland will probably be your best bet.
Thunder! Deep freeze! Thunder! Thunder! Thunder!
Now, if you need another place for the Yellow Operas, I guess Monstro would be a runner-up. Though personally, I really wouldn't pick Monstro. Just personally, I wouldn't. Now, we are on the last item for Group 1, which is the Experience Earring. Now, this might be difficult at the beginning of the game, because the last item that you need could only be found in chests at the start. However, it does become something that we could create later on, so don't worry if you don't have it now. As for the rest of the items, well, they're dropped by specific Heartless. Special Heartless, to be exact. But I'll go through the list. Fury Stones are dropped by Giga Shadows, which you can find in Wonderland. Now, the Giga Shadow, it spawns in the Bazaar Room. The thing is, you'll know if it's there if a bunch of shadows pop up, like so. With this Heartless, you're gonna have to focus about keeping away from it, while also trying to whittle down its health. If any of the Giga Shadows end up hitting you, they end up disappearing, meaning you don't get the item. Now, when I fight these guys, I like using Sonic Blade, as not only does it stun it, it also gives me some invincibility frames so I can work around them. Now, next on the list is Power Stone, which is dropped by the Snapper Wild. Preferably, you should have Stop on you, or at least the strongest version of it, which, if you're doing this before Hollow Bastion, should be Stoppera. Now, what I'm about to show you is a botched attempt. If you ever mess up fighting this Heartless, do the following. Run. Run to the nearest exit. You think I'm joking? You think I'm clowning you? The answer is no. See, this thing will teleport around the map, and it will snipe you. If it sees you like that, it starts doing this, and no matter how many times you try to kill it, it'll keep coming back. So just run to the nearest exit, like so. Now, I'm not gonna lie, every time I fight this thing, I always run away eventually. But there's a difference between running away and botching it up. See, when you botch it up, you get no item. When you run away, you got your item and you want to survive. So, yes, just be careful with this one in particular, because it can and will kill you. You may notice that when it does that alert thing, you might think it's over, but to be honest, you have a couple seconds to stop it before it calls its friends. When it calls its friends, that's when you should leave.
Here. Stop. Stop. Ha, come on.
Next up is a Mythros Stone. This is dropped by the Pot Scorpion from Agrabah. There is technically another way you could get this stone, but it's kinda unreliable, so your best bet is just beating up the Heartless. So the Pot Scorpion, it's disguised as one of these pots. Now, you can tell which one's which is if it doesn't move. See, this one doesn't move, so that's the one that the Pot Scorpion is hiding in. If you attack the rest, you get tech points and, money. And like I said, there's a chance for the Mythros Stone to drop. It's usually with the last one, but to be honest, like I said, it's not that reliable. During this fight, I do suggest you probably use a summon to get rid of Donald and Goofy, mainly because they kind of get in the way when you're trying to beat them up. But other than that, this Heartless isn't too difficult to deal with.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on.
Finally, we're at Serenity Power. I would tell you that this is probably the most frustrating thing to get in the entire game. Okay, so this is dropped by the Pink Agaricus. You can find this thing in Deep Jungle. Now, you need to go to the treehouse. If you see a white mushroom in this area, you know the Heartless is going to spawn. What you need to do is you need to find 3 of these guys and cast Stop on them. Then the Pink Agaricus would spawn in the treehouse. The thing is, see,
Come on.
you're going to need to cast Stop on it and hit it as many times as you can. That's how you get the item. My method is I use Ragnarok, which is an ability that you learn after Hollow Bastion. Well, during Hollow Bastion, but you get what I mean. It's going to be in the after portion. But there's also a method that you could use with the Ars Arcanum.
Come on.
Now, the thing is, we don't have the fully maxed out stop or the fully maxed out arrow spell. Fully maxed out stop would make the duration last longer, obviously. With the third version of arrow, we do more damage, but currently, we only have the second one. It does some, but the third one does a lot more. In addition to this, I suggest you also give Goofy his ability of MP Gift because, like the ability states, he'll give you MP when you run low. Perfect for when you really want to get in a couple hits before he, unfreezes.
Here.
And I forgot to equip Ars Arcanum. Either that or I also have Sonic Blade, but I think I just didn't equip it. Well, as you can see, the tech points count as the hit counter. You need over 50 to get the item. After completing that one, we're now done with Tier 1, and now we're ready to go on to Tier 2. Tier 2 starts off with a Mega Ether. You need 1 Blaze Shard, 1 Frost Shard, and 1 Thunder Shard. And you're also going to need 2 Mithrils. I might have got my description for Mithril Shards confused with this earlier, but currently the only way that you're going to find Mithril is through a chest. Later on, it does become available through the Moogle shop, though. Next on the list is the Guard Earring, which needs 3 Bright Shards, 1 Frost Shard, and 3 Mithril Shards. Third on the second tier is the Angel Bangle. Now, assuming that you've managed to do all the recipes beforehand, this will be the 9th item that you made. At this point, you've unlocked Tier 3. For this, you're going to need 3 Thunder Shards and 1 Bright Gem. Bright Gems drop from Search Ghosts, which you can easily find in Monstro, Atlantica, Halloween Town, and later on, Hollow Bastion. Honestly, I did get some locations with Monstro because they're plentiful here, and there's a couple of locations I could find in Atlantica. The thing is, I was going over my recordings, and I don't think I found one in Halloween Town just yet, so it might be after you do Hollow Bastion. Or I probably just didn't find it, so for that, I'm sorry. After that, you have the Golem Chain, which you need 3 Blaze Shards and 1 Spirit Gem. Spirit Gems are dropped by Air Soldiers. I know you can find them in Traverse Town, Agrabah, and Monstro.
Thunder. 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 Fire! Fire! Thunder!
Next up is the Rune Armlet. You need 3 Blaze Gems, 3 Frost Gems, and 3 Thunder Gems. The Blaze Gems are dropped by Bandits and Fat Bandits. Basically like the Power Wild, you can find these guys in Agrabah. Again, I have ice just going around the world. You're eventually gonna get the item sooner or later.
Here! Thunder! Come on! Here! Fire!
As for the last two items, you could find them easily in Atlantica. Frost Gems are dropped by the Sea Neons and the Sheltering Zones, and the Thunder Gems are dropped by the Aqua Tanks and the Screwdrivers. A little advice on finding this Sheltering Zone. You need to finish it off with magic, otherwise it's just going to break up into a bunch of little Sea Neons. Now, I'm not sure if that will affect the items, but just in case, try to finish it off with magic. As for the Aqua Tank and the Screwdrivers, do not use Thunder, because that would just charge them up.
Fire! See ya! Fire! Fire! Come on! See ya! Come on! Come on! Come on! Fire!
Now for Tier 2's last item, the Moogle Badge. See, like with Tier 1's, we're going to need some Mithril, which could only be unlocked through chests at this point. We're also going to need Auriclium, which is also going to be only unlocked through chests. If I recall, the number of chests for Mithrils is 17, and the number for Auriclium would be 13, though I'm not sure if that's before or after Hollow Bastion. Also, another side note is that Auriclium could later be bought for 5,000 money at the item shop. Now for the rest of the items. We need 1 Blaze Stone, 1 Frost Stone, and 1 Lightning Stone. For the Blaze Stone, it's dropped from the Chimera from Halloween Town. To be honest, this one might be a little challenging to handle for now, but you're welcome to try. You're going to want to go to the Manor Ruins and drop down. You know the Heartless is going to spawn if a bunch of White Knights are here.
Come on!
Now, the Chimera's health doesn't look like much, but that's rude. That's not its real health. Once you dwindle down this health,
Come on!
its real health would show. You're gonna need to throw back the little orb that pops out in order to damage it. Well, to damage it more, you could definitely hurt it, but hitting those back at it will cause more damage. Now, if you had Araga, this fight would be a lot easier because the orbs will be automatically deflated back to him. However, you could only get that spell after Hollow Bastion when you get all the puppies.
Heal!
Also, when you do deplete its health, when it regains consciousness, it's gonna summon a bunch of gargoyles on you, so deal with them as you see fit.
This should help. Come on! Heal. Fire. Heal. Come on. Here. Come on. Come on.
Well, that could have gone better. Anyway, the next item's a lot easier to get. It's dropped by the Grand Ghost in Monstro. All you need to do is give it healing items and you'll defeat it. You can find this Heartless in the stomach. Now, if you have a good healing item like Elixir, it'll defeat it quickly. If you don't have elixirs to spare though, high potions work just as well. However, I wouldn't recommend potions as that might take a bit, and honestly, if you don't have enough item slots, you might run out before it dies.
This should help.
For the last item, the Lightning Stone, that's dropped by the Black Ballad. You can find it in Deep Jungle in the Bamboo Thicket. When you encounter the Black Ballad, it's going to make 5 clones of itself. To defeat it, you're going to have to guess which one is the real one. Now, there's a method where you could pause and unpause to see where it goes, which should help you figure out which one is the real one. Now, if you are unfortunate and hit the wrong one, be prepared to dodge because it'll shoot you with a little lightning bolt. Just remember, you only have 3 chances to guess. On the 4th attempt, if you guess wrong, it'll go away. Also, you want to make sure you're not too far away, because if you hear the combat music turns off and go to the normal music, if you try pausing, you're going to end up going to the menu.
This should help.
With that done, we're done with Tier 2, and now we're ready to take on Tier 3. Starting Tier 3, we have AP up. You're going to need 2 Blaze Gems, 2 Frost Gems, and 2 Thunder Gems. You're also going to need 4 Mithrils. After Tier 3, I'm going to list how many items you need for each of the recipes, therefore, if you want to make just one trip, it'll be easier for you. Currently, for the first 3 tiers of recipes, you're going to need at least 11 Mithrils. Up next is the Dark Ring, which you only need 2 Lucid Gems and 2 Bright Gems. Lucid Gems drop from the White Knight and the Gargoyle that you can find in Halloween Town. After that, you just need 2 Bright Gems, which are dropped by the Search Ghost. Up next is the Master Earring. This should be the 15th item you made. Once you made 15 items, Tier 4 is unlocked. Also, you get a new ability called Encounter Plus. I highly suggest that you get this ability, as it makes spawning enemies a lot easier. In order to get this, you just need to exit out of the menu and talk to the Moogle again, and it'll give you the ability. Anyways, back to the recipe. You're going to need 5 Spirit Shards, 3 Spirit Gems, and 1 Fury Stone. Just a reminder, Spirit Shards are dropped by both the large bodies and soldiers, while the Spirit Gems are dropped by the air soldiers, and the Fury Stone is dropped by the Giga Shadow. After that should be the Gaia Bangle. You need 5 Lucid Shards, 3 Lucid Gems, and 1 Lightning Stone. Up next is Titan Chain. We need 5 Power Shards, 3 Power Gems, and 1 Power Stone. We know where we could get the Power Shards and the Power Stones from, but for Power Gems, we need to go to Neverland and find the Pirate Heartless. To be honest, I think battleships are kind of rare because I think they only spawn twice, and that's on the deck. But I'm not entirely sure about that.
Ha! Come on! Come on! Come on! Come on! Heal! Come on!
Huh. I guess it was really just 1. I wonder where 2 came from. Well, it don't really matter because now we're on the last item for Tier 3, and that's Mithril. For Mithril, you're going to need 5 Mithril Shards, 1 Mithril Stone, and 1 Mystery Goo. We know where we could get the Mithril Shards and Stones, but what about the Mystery Goo? For the Mystery Goo, you could get it from the White Mushroom, the Black Fungus, and the Rare Truffle. Personally, I go with the White Mushroom for Mystery Goo farming mainly because I think they're a lot easier to deal with compared to the others. You can find them in these locations: Traverse Town the Red Room, Wonderland the Lotus Forest, Deep Jungle Camp, Agrippa's Treasure Room, Halloween Town's Graveyard, and Atlantica's Sunken Ship. Atlantica and Deep Jungle have them located in different areas as well, but that's to trigger the pink agaricus. Now, in order to get the Mystery Goo, you have a better chance if you match the charade that they show 3 times in a row. I'll explain the charades as they come and go. Right there, that's Thunder. If it's shivering and holding itself, or as I like to say it, please somebody hold me, I'm alone, like that would be Fire. If it's giving you the come at me bro symbol, that's technically it fanning itself off, that'll be Blizzard. Casting the spell 3 times in a row, that gives you a art guaranteed, so there's a 10% chance of you getting a Mystery Goo. Now, each world has their own variation of the spells that they could do. Traverse Town and Wonderland only have Thunder, Blizzard, and Fire. The other worlds would also have the same, but they'll have an additional 4th one that is unique to that world. And I'll tell you right now, sometimes they'll show you one charade multiple times in a row and will not give you the one that you want. Yes, I know, it's frustrating, but be patient. Either A, they're going to give it to you, or B, it's going to be a lost cause. I can't tell you how many times I caved in, used a charade that they were given to me, only for the next charade to be what I wanted. I'll also give everybody this heads up as well. You might not be able to get all in a room, so just focus on one for the start, and then go with whatever feels good with you.
Thunder! Here!
For Deep Jungle, the unique spell here is Cure. You're going to want to wait for them to fall on the ground, and then heal them under target. Be careful not to heal them whenever they use something else, because that will make them go away.
This should help. Heal! Heal! This should help.
that will also happen every now and then, so yeah, I hate it too. Now, for Agrabah, the unique spell here is Gravity. And, as you can see the one in the background, if they're floating in the air, you know to use it.
Force. 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 Come on. Force. See ya. Force. See ya. Force. Ha.
For Atlantica, the unique spell that they use here is Stop. You can tell when they're using it is if they freeze in place. Like so. Now, I could have sworn I had one for Halloween Town, but I guess I don't. So the one for that one would be if they were spinning around really fast. It's kind of like Cure, where you use Arrow on the target. However, with that one, I do suggest you not hitting them, because if you do, they're gonna act like you've actually hit them and disappear without giving you your item.
Stop. Stop. Here. Here. Come on. Ha, ha. Here. Ha. Come on.
Now, for the Black Fungus, you can find it in Agrabah's Bazaar, you know, the room with a bunch of pot spiders, and Halloween Town's Moonlight Hill. Sadly, I don't really have footage on these guys, so I can't really give you a video reference on what to do, but if I recall correctly, I think Gravity works great on these guys, and if not, use Simba's Proud Ward to the max. It should take care of them. And finally, there's the Rare Truffle. You can find them at Monster's Throat, Halloween Town's Bridge, and Neverland on top of the ship. The easiest place to do this would be Neverland, as you can fly up and keep hitting the Heartless. To be honest, it would probably be a lot easier if you just wait and get the third version of Arrow, that way you could just stand beneath it and have the magic work for itself. And that's another reason why I want a treasure magnet on me, so I can at least grab the item without having to stop. To be honest, I could stop, but if you get to 50 or 100, you do get a ranking with these guys. It's not something that you need, but personally, I like collecting it. In total, this is the amount of items that you need for tiers 1 through 3. I'll leave it up for a moment so everyone can see what they need, and then we'll continue on. After this point, we'll be discussing Heartless that appear during and after Hollow Bastion. There also might be some small spoilers that are discussed during this part, so I suggest stopping the video now and coming back later when you've completed that part. Starting tier 4, we have Elixir, which needs 1 Power Crystal, 1 Shiny Crystal, 2 Bright Crystals, and 3 Auricliums. On your first trip to Hollow Bastion, you'll encounter the Heartless that drop these items, but afterwards, they'll kind of pop up everywhere. The thing is, I suggest you get a lot of the items earlier, mainly because a lot of the spawns do kind of change. Granted, you'll find most Heartless in the same world, but they might appear somewhere else. But let's continue. So, the Power Crystal is dropped by the Wyvern. Like I said, you could find these guys pretty much everywhere, but Hollow Bastion is where you first encounter them. The problem with this Heartless is that they like to kind of fly high, so hitting them might be a little difficult. Another problem is with the last few items is that item drops are very low. I think it's like at 2%, so Lucky Strike would be very beneficial when you fight these guys.
Here! Thunder! Come on! Thunder! Thunder! Here! Thunder! Thunder! Here! Thunder!
Next up is the Shiny Crystal. They are dropped by Wizards. Wizards are a special Heartless that absorbs most of your magic, so it's recommended that you just hit them. There's also a rare chance of them dropping a weapon called Wizard's Relic. You could get that done. When they cast Thunder like that, they are invulnerable to most damage. I say most because I know Erica could get past the immunity. While going over this footage, I did realize that a lot of the earlier Heartless that I described, like the red Nocturnes, the blue Rhapsodies, the yellow Operas, and the green Requiems, they do appear in this world alongside with large bodies and soldiers. So, if you're having difficulties finding these Heartless in any other world, Hollow Bastion will probably be your best bet. Like with the last item, the drop rate is pretty low, so it'll probably take you a good amount to find them if you don't have Lucky Strike on you. The next item to find are Bright Crystals, which are dropped by defenders. For this Heartless, you're going to want to focus on attacking from behind rather than up front, because that shield is going to deflect most of your damage. Like with a wizard, the defender has a chance of dropping its shield, which could be given to Goofy. However, to be honest, it's kind of a rare drop, and even with Lucky Strike, I've still yet to get it in any of my playthroughs. Up next is Defense Up. You're going to need 3 Lucid Shards, 3 Bright Shards, 2 Bright Gems, 1 Power Crystal, and 5 Auricliums. Up next is Heart Guard. After making this item, you should have 21 items made, which unlocks the next tier. For this, you're going to need 3 Lucid Gems, 1 Lucid Crystal, and 1 Bright Crystal. We know where we could get the other 2, but where do we get the Lucid Crystal from? The Lucid Crystals are dropped by Dark Ball. Now, these guys could kind of pop up everywhere, but the drop rate is at 1%, so it's going to take a bit just to get this one.
Thunder! Thunder! Here! Thunder! Here! Thunder! Ha! Thunder! Thunder! Come on! Thunder! Here! Thunder! 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 Here! Thunder! 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 Here!
After that is the 3 stars. You're going to need 5 Power Gems, 3 Mystery Goos, and 1 Shiny Crystal. Now, earlier I explained that Mystery Goo drops from the Mushroom Heartless. However, I didn't have footage for the Arrow spell for the White Mushroom, and I just didn't have anything for the Black Fungus. While recording for the last segment for the video, I decided to go get the footage for those Heartless. I could have sworn I had the footage for the Black Fungus in Halloween Town. I guess I don't? Well, I have the one for Agrabah.
Defense! Wind! Defense! Wind! Wind!
Like I said earlier in the video, if you cast Arrow on these guys for a 3rd time, don't hit them, because this is going to happen. Next up is the Atlas Armlet. You're going to need 5 Blaze Shards, 5 Frost Shards, 5 Thunder Shards, 1 Mystery Goo, and 3 Dark Matter. Now for the last item on Tier 4, you're going to need 5 Lucid Crystals, 1 Power Crystal, 1 Shiny Crystal, 3 Blazing Stones, and 3 Frost Stones. Now earlier I tried fighting the Chimera with the 2nd version of Stop and Arrow, and that didn't go out too well and I didn't get anything, but this time around I had the 3rd version of it, and I'd like to show the difference.
Here! Wind! Stop! Wind! Come on! Wind! Come on.
Starting tier 5, we have Dark Matter. This is good because at this point, I think we probably ran out of this about a while back. I'm not too sure. But for this, we need 9 Lucid Shards, 1 Gale, and 2 Mithrils. Gale is dropped by the Angel Star and Invisible Heartless that you could only find in the final world, being the end of the world. You're going to want to land in the Final Rest, which is going to be the last save room before the final boss. Now, prior to this, there is a long segment of fighting off a bunch of waves of Heartless to unlock this room. I've kind of learned late that if you were to, say, just spam Simba in this room and back out before the final wave is complete, you keep doing that to get more Gale. I just didn't know at the time. So, if you are around this area before getting to the final wave, that's an easier way to farm the item. If you're already past this point, well, luckily by now we already have Encounter Plus, so we can just come in, come out, and hopefully the enemy spawn will be these guys.
Get me straight. Get me straight.
Up next is the Mega Elixir. You're going to need 5 Lucid Gems, 3 Lucid Crystals, 2 Gales, and 1 Dark Matter. Third on the list is a Power Up. Now, typically the third item in each list would unlock the next tier, but for the last tier, you're going to need to make all 30 items. For the Power Up, you're going to need 5 Spirit Shards, 3 Spirit Gems, 5 Power Shards, 3 Power Gems, and 1 Dark Matter. After that, it's the Cosmic Arts. You're going to need 5 Bright Shards, 3 Bright Gems, 1 Bright Crystal, and 3 Mithril Stones. Up next is the Experience Bracelet, which needs 1 Energy Stone, 1 Dazzling Stone, 1 Stormy Stone, 8 Auricliums, and 3 Dark Matter. The Energy Stone is dropped by the Stealth Soldier, which you can find in Hollow Bastion. These Heartless appear in 2 areas, the Grand Hall and the entrance. When they pop in, they're going to be invisible. Casting Stop on them will briefly show them, and it'll also give you a good chance to hit them a few times. If you take too long, they will disappear, so try to kill them as fast as you can. Up next is the Dazzling Stone. That's dropped by the Jet Balloon, which has already made an appearance already. Originally, I tried fighting him before Hollow Bastion with Stopra and Aurora, which has worked. I just didn't have Treasure Magnet, so I ended up dropping the item. But with the third version of the spells, it should be a lot easier.
Wind. Here.
Now the last item to find will be the Stormy Stone. That's dropped by the Neo Shadow at the end of the world. Just giving everybody a heads up, you might need to go back and forth into the room for them to spawn, so just be aware of that. When you get to the last couple, they're gonna do a new tactic where they're gonna try to stop you from getting close to the other one by grabbing your feet. The best way to counter it is just like jump in the air and glide away. And then at this part, there's only gonna be one left. If you fail to beat it, it's gonna restart the entire encounter, but you're probably not gonna get the item. For the last item on tier 5, it's gonna be the ribbon. You're going to need 5 Blaze Gems, 5 Frost Gems, 5 Thunder Gems, 1 Gale, and 3 Serenity Power. Earlier I showed an attempt at trying to get a Serenity Power, it didn't work out so well, so here's another attempt actually getting the item. Now before fighting this Heartless, you need to equip everything that will give you the maximum MP that you could possibly get. For me, I switched to my Diamond Dust Keyblade, which you could get by beating the Ice Titan, As for my accessories, I chose the Shiva Belt, Royal Crown, and Cosmic Darts. I believe this gives you the max amount of MP that you can have if you haven't chosen staff, which should be 17. This time around, I made sure to also equip Ars Arcanum. Again, I said that you can also do a trick with Ragnarok, but I think Ars Arcanum is actually a lot easier. Remember what I said earlier, if you pop in this room and you see a bunch of white mushrooms, you know it's gonna spawn, you just gotta find them and cast Stop on them.
Come on. Stop. Yeah. Yeah. Come on!
So what you're going to want to do is you want to cast Arrow on you, and then you want to cast Stop on the big Heartless. At this point, hit him with Ars Arcanum as much as you can. I think to get the items to drop, you need to hit this guy more than 50 times. It increases for every 10, so say you get 60, that increases your chances a bit. Say you get 70, that increases your chance a little more. I do know that if you hit him 100 times, you do get a new accessory called the Prime Cap to drop.
Come on!
Now we're on the final tier. The first thing that pops up is Fantasista, a weapon for Donald. You're going to need 3 Fury Stones, 3 Power Stones, 3 Mithros Stones, and 5 Energy Stones. Up next is the 7 Elements, a shield for Goofy. You're going to need 3 Blazing Stones, 3 Frost Stones, 3 Lightning Stones, and 5 Dazzling Stones. And like with the rest, I did try to do Lightning Stones earlier, but messed up. Here's an attempt where I actually get the item. Now for the final item, the Ultima Weapon. You're going to need 5 Thunder Gems, 5 Mystery Goos, 3 Serenity Powers, 3 Stormy Stones, and 3 Dark Matter. In a few seconds, I'll put up all the items in total that you're going to need, and then after that, I'll move on to the final segment. For our last segment of the video, let's talk about Bambi. If you summon Bambi and fill up his gauge, you get bonus items. Now, if you do that 3 times, you get a gem. It's different between worlds. For example, in Traverse Town, if you fill it up enough, you get a blazing gem. I like going to the 2nd district because there's lots of enemies and they're pretty close to each other, so it gives me enough time to fill it up. For Wonderland, I go to the Lotus Forest, and there you can get the Frost Gem. For Deep Jungle, I go to the place where you fought Clayton, and you could get a Thunder Gem here. In Agrabah, I go to the place where you fought Jafar, and here you can get a Bright Gem. In Monstro, I go to the place where you first fought the Parasite Cage, and here you can get the Lucid Gem.
Thunder. Here.
For Halloween Town, I go to Moonlight Hill, and here you can get the Power Gem. While in Neverland, don't fly with Bambi, otherwise he'll be dismissed. And here you can get the Spirit Gems.
Here. Thunder. Thunder. Here. Thunder. Thunder. Thunder.
For Hollow Bastion, you can get this in the entrance, but it's best that you start from the top and work your way down. That way you get enough Heartless to fill it up. In Hollow Bastion, you get the Lucid Gem again, but you also have the chance of getting the Lucid Crystal. Now, in the end of the world, you're going to see these pillars of fire. They're going to take you to replicas of worlds you've been to. See, you want to go to Deep Jungle. Here you're going to summon Bambi and kill as many Heartless as you can. Now, there's a trick to actually get more Heartless to appear, but the thing is, I couldn't really get down. But if you manage to do so, you could get Mithril Shards and Mithril.
Thunder.
Well, thank you for watching, everybody. I hope this video helped you. If you have any questions, please comment down below, and I'll try to answer them as fast as I can. Well, take care. I'll see you next time. And please, like and subscribe.